Hello and welcome back to another WrestleDiary. It's been a long time since I did the last one. I think it was maybe the Mae Young Classic, but the last time I did one. I can't remember if I even did one for the AJ Styles Brock Lesnar match, which I loved. There's been a lot of things in 2018 in wrestling that have been cool and that I would have liked to have talked about, but I've had no time in which to do so. The Royal Rumble, which I thought was surprisingly fantastic. The Ronda Rousey debut, of course, and Alpha versus Omega, New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom, which was incredible. I loved it, but again, not really much time, and I still don't have much time. I'm trying to keep up with things, but WrestleMania is just around the corner. I'll try and get some sort of preview of WrestleMania, just kind of my thoughts on everything that's happened over the past few months and my thoughts on it, because I have a lot of thoughts on it. I always have lots of thoughts on it. But this I had to make a video about very quickly, and it is, of course, the Daniel Bryan situation. He's now been cleared by WWE doctors to get back into the ring again. I couldn't believe it. I never thought that it would actually happen. It seemed clear over the past year or so that he was definitely going to wrestle again once his contract with WWE was up, and it definitely felt like they were never going to risk him getting further injured in the ring. You know, it's just one of those things now where they're so careful. Back in the day, Attitude Era, that there would have been he would have kept going. You know, maybe that would have been worse, but apparently, you know, he really has had time to heal, and, you know, he's had a lot of consultations, and I've seen a lot of specialists, and done all this kind of the hyperbaric or something chamber treatments. You know, he's really been working hard to get back in the ring, and I'm so glad he gets to do it on the biggest stage possible. And I'm not sure if they've been working to get it cleared and done and kind of, you know, signed on the dotted line before WrestleMania, because it seems very likely he's going to get in the ring at WrestleMania in a few weeks. And as soon as I heard that he was cleared, I thought, well, if he's going to wrestle WrestleMania, it's going to be him and Shane versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, just purely from the storyline. I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, it should be AJ versus Nakamura versus Bryan. Oh, you know, finally he can save the Universal title match. It could be Bryan versus Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I'm like, well, no, that's not going to happen. Nor should it, either. They'd be great matches, but I prefer the one-on-one competition. I think AJ Nakamura is going to be incredible. I think Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar is going to be awesome. I don't really care about Roman Reigns being coronated for the 8th time in a row, but, you know, I think the match will be great like the last one at WrestleMania 31 was. Anyway, Daniel Bryan. I mean, you know he's going to go full, he's going to go all out, like he always does, but I think a tag match is a good way for him to ease back into it. But at the same time, you saw on SmackDown, he was doing the drop kicks in the corner and they landing on his head, like getting powerbombed on the apron. That's what he does, and I'd really like to see it, if not in a case of art imitating life, but life imitating life, where, you know, he was trained by Shawn Michaels as an 18-year-old, and, you know, very much like Shawn Michaels, became that guy who was smaller than, you know, the regular big, you know, kind of big name star in WWE was, but became a big star regardless. Like Shawn Michaels back in the 90s, he just didn't have the build for one of those big guys like Hulk Hogan, and yet he made it along with Bret Hart. Daniel Bryan, even smaller. There's no way when he came into WWE in 2010, if you said to me he will main event WrestleMania and win the world title in 4 years' time, not a chance. It will never happen. And it did, because he just absolutely started his own revolution. And I was so grateful to be a part of that, and to be there at WrestleMania 30, and the fact that WrestleMania is going to be in New Orleans again, it's kind of really kind of bittersweet for me, because I just look back on that time so fondly, and I'd love to be there again. I loved the city, I loved WrestleMania there, but what a story that he'll get to come back at the WrestleMania that was his WrestleMania, in that building, in that city. And you know, obviously it's not going to be the biggest match on the show, but it's going to be a big moment on the show, and I can't wait to see it. I'm really excited about it. And, you know, just I hadn't finished my thought. Life imitating life, him, you know, kind of, you know, being trained by Shawn Michaels and being that smaller guy who'd go on to bigger things and to win the big one against all odds, but then to have to retire earlier than planned, and then after a few years to come back. And if it was to do that, where he now would come back for many years and be able to, you know, get that longevity like Shawn Michaels did, we could be in for a renaissance of his career. You know, renaissance is an American British thing of his career. Like, literally could be the next big second part of his career, or it could just be that he'll do a few matches here and there. You know, they'll play it safe, and he'll have these big marquee matches at SummerSlam, Survivor Series, things like that. We don't know. Clearly, it would be a bad idea for him to go on the road again and to work that full-time schedule. It just isn't advisable. So I could see him maybe doing special matches, you know, Raw and SmackDown, but you know, saving it for the big matches on pay-per-views and things like that, which is for the most part what Shawn Michaels did, though he did go on the road and do all the live events. Anyway, it's a bit of a different situation because you're dealing with head injury, not a back injury. But regardless, super excited to see my favorite wrestler of, you know, of the past, you know, I don't know how many years now. Well, I guess of the decade, because it was literally, I had seen nothing of Bryan Danielson before he came to WWE, loved him instantly, became a huge fan, and he was my favorite wrestler, and now he'll be my favorite wrestler again. And I think the one match I'm looking forward to seeing the most is Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. Holy shit, that's going to be something special if they get to do it. Nakamura, I mean, there's many dream matches that can happen now, which is really exciting. Anyway, so that's my brief thoughts on it. What do you think about it? Leave thoughts down below if you have any, and I'll try and get back with another wrestling video fairly soon. I think someone asked me on Facebook if I could talk about this, and I definitely wanted to, because, you know, it's a big deal as far as a wrestling fan. It's awesome, and I'm excited for WrestleMania even more than I already was. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
He's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.